abundance, 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 and gratitude to all. It is not racist to speak about the scientific phenotype differences between so called black people and pink skinned people on this planet. One of us are natural, the other one is a genetic modified species that was created. So let me just read this to you real fast, my people, because the truth is more disturbing than the lie. And like I told you before, whatever you think is the truth, especially those that believe in some supreme being in the sky and some Satan in the ground that's just orchestrating this shit, and you're not the creator, you're not the person that is taking part in creating the reality in which we as a collective are living in, shame on you. And I'm talking to so-called black people. However, let me read this to you. A zoonotic transfer or zoonotic spillover is the scientific term for the transmission of an infection pathogen such as a virus, bacterium, fungus, or parasite from a vertebrate animal to a human. Now, I want you to remember that vertebrate animal. So right now, if you want, you can just search up in your phone or your computer while I'm speaking about this, especially you starseeds, and look up vertebrate animals. And you can just click on images. And then what images do you see come up? Vertebrate animals. Let me just read that to you one more again. Zoonotic transfer. Now, remember what I said to you. Brazil and Australia was nothing but so-called black people. It was wiped out. Those two continents of people were wiped out with zoonotic and Hemologous diseases. So zoonotic transfer or zoonotic spillover is the scientific term for the transmission of an infectious pathogen such as a virus, bacterium, fungus, or parasite from a vertebrate animal to a human. Woo. According to the Health, according to the World Health Organization, WHO, you know that what that abbreviates. Zoonoses are diseases or infections that are naturally transmissible between vertebrate animals and humans. Now, I want you to listen to how they word that real fast, because see, this is what how they try to normalize things when they play with words. And this is what I tell people. There is a difference between just reading, being able to read something, but reading and comprehending exactly what you are reading. According to the World Health Organization, zoonoses are diseases or infections that are naturally transmissible between vertebrate animals and humans. So let me just make this very clear here. You're telling me that it's natural for the animal from one a different species to another species to just transmit diseases. But why is that? Because they're two different species for one, but they try to make it seem like that's something naturally, like two different species would naturally be attracted to one another to sexually reproduce. And that don't you don't see that with any natural species in nature. So they try to play with the words to tell you that it naturally transmits. No, it's a disease. Nobody got a disease that they was like, all right, this is naturally coming over to me. No, like you was doing something natural. You understand? And it just got a disease. No, that's not happening. That's not happening because you shouldn't be sleeping with another species. So just listen to that, the wordplay, naturally transmissible. So you can give me a virus. We can sleep together if I find you attractive, but in the process, I'm going to be giving you a virus. Okay. Core aspects of zoonotic transfer. Pathogens are often originate in wildlife, livestock, or companion animals. Woo! Spillover mechanism. This occurs when a pathogen crosses the species barrier. So there is a barrier there that when the blood or semen, whatever you want to call it, however, when our blood, our skin is exposed to one another, whatever the case may be, and that blood, it it breaks the barrier in order to infect me. Overcoming physical and psychological hurdles in a new, often untainted host, working its way. See, the viruses and diseases want to do exactly what 99.9% of people do, want to live. Virus and disease want to live, but they can't exist without a living host. I said this to you before. Everything that's on a micro is on a macro, macro, micro. Look at cells and look at viruses. Viruses are not even considered to be alive. Look at the pink skin race. You are the red cell. We are the red cell. They are the pink. They are the white cell. And when you have more white cells in your body, that means you are infected. Spillover mechanism. This occurs when a pathogen crosses the species barrier, overcoming physical and psychological hurdles in a new, often untainted host. Directions. While typically defines as animals to human, it can also refer to humans to animals transmission, often termed reverse zoonosis or zooanthropognosis. So you already see that certain species are attracted to animals, and you can look up people sleeping with animals. Of course, you're going to see them pull up a so-called black person, pull off one of their demonistic, low vibrational human ways, and they're going to try to paint us all with that. But through history, it's in their history of them mating or trying to mate or having relations with animals. It's in their history. You can look it up. It's even all through YouTube. So not only the animal giving them infection, they giving the animal infection because they're two different. See, pink skinned people are a complete, total different species. They don't even really replicate themselves because the percentage of the DNA of animals in which each individual share varies, as well as the monkey. The monkey that makes the so-called white woman is not the same monkey that makes the so-called white man. That's why the white man is more violent, but the white woman is more conniving. She's sneaky. She's patient. She's different from him. She's manipulative. And that's what makes her more dangerous than him. So while typically defined as animal to human, it can also refer to human to animal transmission, often termed reverse zoonosis or zooanthropognosis. More than 60% of existing human infectious diseases are zoonotic in origin. Shit, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up, people. And you talk about mixing blood. Like you talk about I'm racist. And you wonder why animals in nature don't do it. And they be trying to force them when they put them in captivity. Bro, y'all don't even get it. We shouldn't even be mixing blood with nobody. I'm trying to tell you. Significance. More than 60% of existing human infectious diseases are zoonotic in origin. Because we're mixing blood. And over 75% of newly emerging human diseases such as COVID, Ebola, and SARS come from animals. Listen here, people. Cut it out. You can't get you listen. This is not racism. You call it what you want. This is something that we should be putting an eye on. This is something that the sun is now talking about. The sun don't give a first toast what continent you came from. The sun is saying, do you match the genetics of me in the cosmos? Yes or no? Because that's all we birth. We replicate ourselves all the way down to the lowest form. So even Pindar, Moloch, the Dragon King, they're natural, but they won't be natural, or he and his crew won't be naturally being able to sit underneath suits and skin, fake human bodies. They won't be able to blend in. You're going to have to be, what you are, the naked eye is going to see you for what and who you are. You will not be able to hide behind no type of illusion at all. And that's what's coming this way. That's why it boils down to genetics. I don't give a damn what continent you from. I'm a prokaryotic cell. I'm everywhere. I am a single cell unit that vibrates on all frequencies from its lowest frequency to the highest in any wavelength. Understand and overstand who and what you are and why it's so important to keep you away from anatomy. Why it's so important to keep us separated and divided. Why it's so important to keep us distracted while they're taking our children. And to try, they're not only dissecting you, but they realize and coming to the point that they realize that they can't get what they see. See, they can see it, but they can't obtain it out of you. They can see it, but they can't touch it in you. They trying every which way to have that immortal divine code that allows you to travel amongst the stars. No matter what realm you are in, you are divinely connected directly to source, and you can perform the acts and the creativity that source does itself because you are it. Come on, stop playing. And you are trapped in an illusion, in drugs, aka food, the water, even the water, the liquids, the juices, everything, the environment. We are living in each other's vision of the world in which it is someone else's vision that was pushed onto you. And we are creating a prison individually and collectively for each other. Why it's a better world for them and their creation. You must understand this ain't about the pink-skinned people. This is something deeper than that has been here for quite some time, and we know of their existence. You have people put in place to distract you, starseeds. You are being educated and medically examined and legally charged or not charged by a species that have no biological identification to the planet. And how could someone deem them sane after what their forefathers have done to us? That is crazy and ludicrous. We were in zoos all the way up until 1958. Are you kidding me? Get mad at me all you want. The age of Aquarius is about individual reflection and a collectiveness of your species. What did you do individually and what did your species do as a whole? Bingo. This ain't about pointing the finger to no one else. And like I said, Starseeds, let me go back up here real fast. I want you to remember what I said. What did it say right here? Let me read this right here. Zoonotic transfer or zoonotic spillover is the scientific term for the transmission of an infection pathogen such as viruses, bacterium, fungus, parasites from a vertebrate animal to a human. chlamydia, gonorrhea, trichomonas, syphilis, all that shit. It don't make a difference. All STDs, STIs, HIV, it don't make a bit of a difference. They are all here because of us mingling, sharing blood with a species. This is why we was dying first. That's how tainted they were. That's how pure we were. They always been tainted. They are a virus. We used to die from them infections. These infections they just gave them different names over the years. You don't see none of this with elephants. You don't see none of this with lions. You don't see none of this with hyenas. You don't see none of this with crocodiles, hippopotamus, ants, giraffes, zebras. You don't see this in nature. So why is it rampant amongst us if we're supposed to be the leading intelligent species on the planet and nature is supposed to be beneath us? Starseeds, they are lying to you. Adults have developed coping mechanisms to pass down generational curses because they believe that they are free versus knowing that they are in a prison. We are in a prison collectively. Not all of us individually, but collectively we are in. Period. Now remember what that said, vertebrate animals, and look the pictures up of vertebrate animals. And then look at the animals, the vertebrate animals, and then search up human shared DNA. What animals? And look at those vertebrate animals. Yes. That's our food, our sex partner. You putting these antigens in our body and passing them down, which weakening us mentally and physically, keeping us in a docile state. This ain't racism, this is truth. I don't got time to argue if the earth flat around. Fuck all that. We're going to figure that out. Is my species flat around? How about that? I don't got time to what continent we on. What here? Who was here first? What I gotta argue about that for? Where did you come from? How did 15 different species use their blood and join it together to make one living organism, which is you? I ain't got time to argue about that. My skin is made of stardust. I don't need star family. We already here. My star family right here. We reincarnated right here on the planet. My skin made of stardust. I produce what you call neuromelanin, which is condensed sunlight. I vibrate. It's black body radiation. I absorb and emit all frequencies of radiation, which means I am the sun and the sun is me. So how can you ever question me about my existence and what planet or continent I'm from? You don't know where I'm from. Because I'm not limited to Earth, where you say the sky is the ceiling. That's your ceiling. That ain't mine. I value my people. Star seeds. Your voice will be heard. These petty arguments, and people want to tell you about some ancient war about some extraterrestrials. These people or these species, I'm not even talking about the pink skin race star seeds. I'm talking about the species in which created them. They are carnivores. They are meat eaters. They are energy vampires. How could they ever think or outthink or begin to think people that eat directly from the sun? We created all life on this planet and food on this planet for them. It wasn't for us. We eat directly from the sun. It's called breatharians. Call it what you want. Abundance and gratitude to all.